You're listening to the Snipers Club NRL podcast, and this is a bonus episode for you guys. Good news is we've now been approved on Spotify, so that'll be a great portal to use. Please let your friends know. Please share the good news and help others really profit from our information and service. That'd be hugely appreciated. We'll be sending through a link to Twitter and any other social media channels, so you'll be able to find us there. And we're going to have free content pretty much every week in the run up to the grand finals. So the most likely thing we'll be doing is keeping the Thursday game the free pod. So there'll be no paid subscription to that. It may be the Friday game if a Friday game's the only early game in that particular week. So exciting times, guys. It's looking great on Spotify. We'll probably open up to other channels quite soon as well. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at two things. We're going to have a look at the run home, because now we've got the Origin bye period behind us. We've got 7 weeks left of the season, and we'll be looking to see who can potentially serve it up to the favourites in the run up to the grand final itself. Obviously, those favourites are pretty tough favourites to overcome. It's the Penrith Panthers, and their systems are just absolutely second to none. So we'll be looking for a bit of value. The other thing we'll do is we'll do the opening lines for this week. Those prices came out last night, so we'll run you through them ahead of this weekend to see if there's any value out there before Team News Tuesday. So let's kick off with the contenders, guys. So we're going to, realistically, we can't see the Sydney Roosters, the Titans, or the Knights actually making the 8. So we're going to start off from the New Zealand Warriors and work our way up to the favourites, the Panthers. So that'll see us cover the Warriors, the Raiders, the Eels, the Sharks, the Cowboys, the Rabbitohs, the Storm, the Broncos, and the Panthers. So at the moment, the best price you can find on the Warriors in the UK is $41. I don't think that's actually going to be available. The next best realistic price is as low as $15. So there was an error earlier this morning. Betfred was still showing $26. That disappeared by this morning. So the best current price on the high street or online seems to be $15, and that is fairly widely available, so you can still find it. So the Warriors have got one hard game this weekend. That's the Raiders at home. And then after that, they've got a bye, and they've got a pretty soft and easy run home. So they're serious contenders for us. They'll, in our opinion, they'll definitely make the 4, and that should set them up very, very nicely to try and get a week off whilst all the other teams are scrapping and scrambling for position. The main issue we have with the Warriors is what will happen to them if there's an injury to Sean Johnson, to DWZ, to Chance potentially, or to Tohu Harris. We don't think they've got that much depth on their bench. Okay, you've got players like Jazz Tavanga that can come back in, but after that, how much depth is there? So with a full team, yes, absolutely, they can kick on, they can challenge. They're probably our first or second favorite in terms of Smokies to make the grand final, and we like them a lot. But would we actually back them? Not entirely sure, but we'll come back onto that. The next team that we're looking at is Canberra. Best price you can find on them in the UK is $34. That's with Sky Bet at the moment. There's a bit of 25s around. There's a little bit of 30s around as well. And they've got a good team. The issue with Canberra is that they tend to concede points quite late in games, and they're slightly flaky once they're in front. I think the market knows this. The other issue is Rapana hasn't been scoring many tries. Hopoate's been scoring every so often. Croker's getting on a bit in age. Jamal Fogarty's been unbelievable, and their forward pack is something. It's a sight to behold. So Papali'i will come back. We think they'll definitely make the 8. They've got an outside chance, but I think eventually cracks will start to appear, especially if they're taking on someone like the Panthers or anyone other than the Storm, who they tend to beat quite often. So potentially, but not for us. Next on the list are the Eels. You can find them best price at $21 in the UK. The average available price is probably around $17 or $18, depending on where you shop. So there's going to be some major problems for Parramatta coming up. Sivo's going to get banned probably tomorrow. RCG is going to get banned as well. Dylan Brown isn't back till round 23. You've got Wiremu Greg, who was looking really, really exciting. He's injured. Hopefully he'll be back soon. So there are some cracks starting to appear in that team. So the issue is, who's going to replace Micah Sivo and score the actual points on the left wing? The options are probably Hayes Dunster. Is he actually a first grader, or is he a reserve grader? Or Wonga Blake, who's been much maligned. He's normally left centre. Could he come in and do a job on the left wing? Again, not so sure. The other issue is they haven't been getting the ball out to Sivo enough. Simonson thinks he's, Isaac Tungo at the moment and isn't offloading at all. And that's put them in a bit of a corner. So until Dylan Brown comes back, we'd be swerving them. Last year, they did really well to make the grand final. If they didn't have all those injuries and suspensions coming up, we'd like them a lot more. But that means they'll probably sneak into the 8 instead of the top 4. So we can't have them on those grounds. And on the right wing, it's not that much better. They're not going to the wings at all. Sean Russell's getting barely any ball. Penasini's running the ball. He's doing quite well. But you've just got to use your wingers. So that's a no for them. The next team on the list are the flaky Sharkies. Oh my God. We've been talking about this the whole time, all season, on our private channel, which is a Telegram channel that you guys can join. They've been flat track bullies. They've been under impressing. They've been flaky pretty much week in, week out. When they win against the smaller teams, they tend to win in second gear and not really kick on. Matt Moylan has got to be dropped. Why hasn't he been dropped yet? Why hasn't Connor Tracy come in? Why hasn't Trindle come in? Why has Fitzgibbon not made the changes he needs to make to actually try and help this team make the grand finals? They're in serious danger, guys, of not even making the 8 this year. Let's have a quick look at their run home. If you bear with me, it makes particularly grim reading, and we couldn't possibly have them on these grounds. So round 21, they've got Manly at home. Following week, they've got the Panthers away. The following week, round 23, they've got the Rabbitohs away. Then they're home to the Titans. Then they're away to the Cowboys in round 25. Away to the Knights in round 26. And they've got Canberra at home as the last game. It doesn't look good for them. Nico's been underperforming. He's been a shadow of the player he was when he won the Dally M last year. We've had concerns about many of the forward pack and about their ball retention and how bad they actually are at making meters, post-contact meters, and just general meters downfield. And it's starting to fall apart at the seams for the Sharks. They've got such depth and they've got such great players in reserve grade and on the interchange, but they're just not using them. So until things start to change there and Fitzgibbon actually starts to wake up and smell the beans, we just don't think they're going to make it. So we couldn't possibly have Cronulla, especially with that run home. Moving on to the next team, we've got the Cowboys. Now, the best price you can find in the UK for them is $15. That's still pretty good value, guys. They've hit form at the right time, following that trouncing by the Tigers about 2 months ago or something. It was mid-May, I think. And they're starting to look really, really good. Defensively, they were superb at the weekend. They've got players that play Origin that are experienced internationals. They've got players like Cotter, Holmes, Tuilagi. Griffin Neem has been an absolute weapon and is so underrated. And they've got Tamalolo and leaders in their team. So we can definitely see them making a push, and quite a concerted push. Can they get into the top 4? That seems extremely unlikely. Will they make the 8? We're almost certain they'll make the 8. So if you do like a Smoky, then all the factors that you need to try and get a good run, you can find in the Cowboys. And they've hit form at the right time. You want to be peaking now on the run home, guys. It's no good doing what the Broncos did last season, having an amazing first 2/3 of the season, then falling in an absolute hole towards the end of it. So we like them a lot. And, Todd Payton will make the necessary changes to keep his players fresh in the run up to the grand finals. So we like them as well. We probably prefer them to the Warriors, but it's a pretty close call. Moving on, you've got the Rabbitohs. They've got a big game coming up this weekend. They're at home to the Broncos, and we've heard that they'll get all their stars back this week. So that'll be Latrell, that'll be Campbell Graham, that'll be Damien Cook, that'll be Cody Walker. Everyone will be back. So they'll be in a position to really start impressing again, as they did about a month and a half ago, and really start to solidify their place in the top four. So we like them. Are they much of a smoky at the price? Not really. What's the best price you can find in the UK? Probably about $7. Have they got a realistic chance of winning it? Yes, they do. Is it worth it at the price? Probably not. The other issue there is, other than AJ on the left wing, who's going to be the man on the right wing? I don't think that's been completely solved yet. And we've seen Lockie Ilias have poor games where he's essentially just put the ball out into touch. The ball's gone out on the full for absolutely no reason. And then you've seen massive momentum swings against the Rabbitohs in games they should have won fairly easily. So notwithstanding a great win away in New Zealand in the pouring rain a couple of weeks ago, just not convinced by Lockie Ilias. He's not quite there yet. So that would be a swerve from us. Moving on to the Storm. Again, the Storm without Pappenhausen. I don't think so. The Storm with Pappenhausen, definitely. You've got Coates playing out of his skin at the moment. Munster's gone a bit quiet. Warbrick's done really well in attack and defence. Harry Grant has been pretty much the glue that holds the team together in recent weeks. And Jerome Hughes is looking like he's starting to come into good form again. Nelson looked a bit ropey in terms of ball playing and ball retention over the course of the last couple of weeks. So they'll need to fix that. Can they realistically win it with him playing in the back row? Not too sure. So at the prices, Melbourne are a swerve for us as well. Brisbane, another serious contender, guys. Of course they can win it. The best price you can find in the UK is about $6. They have got the team. They have got the bench. But is it worth it at the price? Corey Oates is out again. Jesse Arthur should get a prolonged run on the left wing. You've got Herbie next to him, who's been playing really well, but again, bit of a bull hog. The forward pack have been injured, but should start to be coming back again soon. Haas hasn't played for a couple of weeks. Not entirely sure when his expected return date is. But they're so strong in every position, and they've got players that can just turn a game on a dime. Players like Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh, who will be back this weekend, who is the guy that we think is the best winger in the comp by quite a distance, Selwyn Cobbo on the right wing. So they can score points from fun, and they can manage games as and when they need to with Adam Reynolds' superb kicking game. So they're a live contender, guys. If you like one that's not a bad price, and you like someone to take on the Panthers, who are the shorties, then Brisbane could be the team to do it. Moving on, the Panthers. What can we say about the Panthers? They're short, guys. Best price you can find in the UK at the moment is $3. That's probably still quite good value. Nathan Cleary will be coming back this weekend. Ivan Cleary knows how to manage the team. The systems they've got in place are second to none. They've got strong players pretty much in every position. Some would dispute how good Taruv has been in terms of scoring points on the left wing. And has that left edge really improved since Kickow left? We're not sure about Taruva yet. The reason he hasn't been scoring points is because he's not getting the ball as well. Tungo hardly ever releases it. When Tungo plays on the right, it seems like he's got more freedom. On the left, he's just, he's trying his best to score tries the whole time himself. Dylan Edwards has gone a little bit quiet, but their forward pack is frightening. Their right-hand edge with Crichton and Toto is unbelievable. The meters they make are second to none. They're back-to-back winning premiers. They're the best team in the comp by far. But do you want to take a short price? We wouldn't call it value, but, $3 is probably a realistic chance. If you ask most people in the know, most would probably say, yes, Penrith are going to be the team that win it. But we're not looking for that. We're looking at a bit of value. So our favourite two at the moment and our favourite two Smokies are the Cowboys at $15 and the Warriors at a best price $15 in the UK as well. We'd like the Cowboys more, so we'd be happier to put the Cowboys up as as an official house selection. We'll put that on the Telegram chat, guys, so that you can have a look. We'll have a small stake on that, probably 2 points or so, and we'll look to carry that through over the next 7 weeks or so. Moving on to the next section, guys, we've got opening lines that came out last night. We're going to have a quick scan through these. So on Thursday, you've got the Dragons taking on the Tigers. Dragons are at home. Tigers are +3.5. You've got the Dragons at -3.5. Couldn't be touching the Dragons at the moment. Prefer the Tigers. Is the line about right? Yes. It would be interesting if you could get north of 4.5 points on the Tigers, but doesn't look like there's any particular mistake there. You've got the New Zealand Warriors taking on Canberra on Friday. Warriors are 6.5 point favourites. Canberra +6.5. This seems more or less right. New Zealand have been pretty much dismantling teams at home, but Canberra can be quite tricky customers. If you do like Canberra as the outright Smoky and they were to lose here, you'd probably get a price of probably $41, maybe a little bit higher. So that's something to bear in mind. If you like Canberra, don't back them this weekend, back them next weekend or on Sunday night. So the line looks about right here. You've got South Sydney. You've got the Rabbitohs taking on the Broncos on Friday as well. South Sydney are -2.5 point favourites. We like that. On team news, tomorrow when they announce all the players back, we'd probably have them closer to -4.5 point favourites. So that's definitely the one that we like. Rabbitohs to beat the Broncos on Friday in a massive game. Moving on to Saturday, you've got the Titans against the Roosters. Titans +2.5 at home against the Roosters. Thank you very much. Wouldn't be touching the Roosters still. Despite a slightly improved performance, they just can't score points. When you've got Lofi Khan Pereira, Foran, Sami, Tino, and so many other try threats all over the pitch, and you allied that with Tanner Boyd's kicking, how could you back the Roosters? Just doesn't make sense. So that +2.5 looks like a bit of a gift there. This is notwithstanding weather because we haven't sent our weather report for these matches yet, guys. So do check the weather before placing any of these. You've got Newcastle +8.5 point favourites on Saturday as well against the Storm. That looks about right. You've got North Queensland Cowboys -6.5 points against the Eels on Saturday as well. That looks about right. If you could get -4.5 on the Cowboys, that would be interesting. -6.5, little bit toppy, but quite possible. So we'd be in at -4.5 if you shop around there. Parramatta will be hit with suspensions, as we said a few minutes ago, guys. So they should be there for the taking on Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, you've got the Panthers taking on the Bulldogs. The line set at -24.5 points. That's huge, but it's probably right. This could be a blowout game, so we'd be looking to come up with a few selections for our members on the Telegram. You can find out how to join at Snipers Club NRL on Twitter. All the details are in there, guys. So that's at Snipers Club NRL. We'll be coming up with a few winning margin bets here and a few slightly exotic selections for this game. Canterbury have been particularly poor through the middle, so you should see a couple of Penrith players score through that area of the pitch, and the centres are probably likely to go over as well in this one. Looks like a big line, but it is definitely correct. Moving on to the final game of the week, you've got the Sharks taking on the Sea Eagles on Sunday. Flaky Sharkies, -7.5 point favourites at home. They tend to bounce back somewhat after a disappointing defeat, and it was definitely a disappointing defeat in the last game against New Zealand. But the issue is you've now got Teague Wilton out. And who came in? Wade Egan. Wade Egan's aging. So how much bite is he actually going to give that forward pack? Fitzgibbon has got to make changes. Tomorrow, if you see Trindle and Connor Tracy named in the team, that's probably a good sign. And they should be able to beat the Sea Eagles. If you don't see any changes again, and it's the same old team, we prefer the Sea Eagles at +7.5 points. This has been a fairly long pod, guys. So thank you for listening. Please let your friends know that we're around, and check us out on Twitter at Snipers Club NRL. Please like, share, and help our channel grow.